Hi Lemons! Sa video na to, ang pag-uusapan natin ay cash and cash equivalents, definition, measurement, and composition in accordance with the Philippine Reporting Standards. Philippine Financial Reporting Standards or PFRS. Simulan natin ang lesson natin for today. What is cash? By definition, this is money or its equivalent that is readily available for unrestricted use. Kapag sinabi mong money or its equivalent, ang meaning lang yan ay usually yung 4 examples below. So for example, cash on hand, no, yung mismong 100 peso bill, 500 peso bill, or coins, no? Cash in bank, yung mga nasa savings or checking accounts nyo, checks, no? Whether cashier, managers, or travelers checks, bank drafts, and money orders. So, ang nangyayari lang talaga dyan is that these are considered money in a sense na readily available for unrestricted use. So, pwede mo siya gamitin anytime without you being legally restricted to use the cash. So, kailan ba naging legally restricted ang cash? So, for example, meron kang deposit in a bank, no, amounting to 1 million pesos. Minsan, yung 1 million pesos na yan, meron kang investment agreement with the bank na let's say, ay sir, yung 500,000 pesos. Hindi po natin pwede gamitin yan kasi i-invest natin into, let's say, shares. No? At wag po kayong mag-withdraw ng 500,000 during that period of time kasi we will be purchasing shares for you. So kapag ganyan yung case, may legal restriction or agreement na wag mong gagamitin yung 500,000 in cash. Kapag ganyan, restricted siya. Therefore, yung natitirang 500,000 lang yung magiging part ng cash mo. So, yun yung meaning yan. Okay? So, yun lang. Dapat readily available for unrestricted use. Kuya Lemon, sa discussion ng cash, ano yung kailangan important na matandaan? Ang pinaka-important na malaman dyan ay kung paano ka ba, magka-classify whether cash or hindi yung isang item. Kaya makikita nyo na ang hinighlight ko yung example kasi pag nakita nyo to, magiging part na yan ng cash automatically. Actually, hindi ganun kahirap ang discussion na to. Meron lang mga certain exceptions whether i-include ba siya sa cash or not. So, punta na tayo din sa mga special exceptions. So, checks received and credit lines. Pag sinabi mong check, ito yung instrument to na binibigay mo to someone or nakaka-receive ka rin ito which represents an amount of money and it can be in cash from the bank. So, in this case, merong special case na checks received, no? Particularly for post-dated checks received. In the real world, usually naman kapag nag-i-issue ng checks, merong date, no? Pero kapag, let's say, yung date niya post-dated, ang meaning lang nun ay, let's say, today, so TD, today is December 12, 2025. Kapag sinabi mong post-dated, ang gagawin niya dyan is a check date or kung yung date na nakasulat sa check, ang nilalagay niya dyan ay December 31, 2025. So, syempre, kung binigay ng December 12, kailangan mo pahintayin yung December 31 para ma-encash mo yan. Kasi until the time na hindi pa December 31, this check that is being shown here, no, yung may date na December 31, sa December 12, hindi pa pwede encash yan. Kaya tinatawag yan na post-dated check. So, Kuya Lemon, ano yung treatment ng post-dated checks received? Nakatanggap ako ng check-in, no? Ang checks received from customers dated in the future, hindi yan part ng cash. Dapat accounts receivable pa rin yan. So, bakit ganun, Kuya Lemon? Kasi hindi mo pa siya pwede in cash eh. And di ba dapat legally able ka to use the cash? Meron kang unrestricted use. Since hindi pa December 31, wala ka pang right i-encash yan or maging in your legal possession for you to have unrestricted use. So, yun yung meaning yan. Kaya kailangan tatanggalin yan from cash if, let's say, sa transaction date, no? Let's say, ginawa, nag-record yung account ng cash amounting to, let's say, 1 million. And then, let's say, merong accounts AR, no? Receivable na 1 million. Kapag ang transaction date, ganyan yung ginawa ng accountant, dapat i-reverse nyo yung entry na yan, na i-recognize ulit yung AR na 1 million, at tanggalin yung cash na 1 million. Kasi wala ka pa naman talaga may cash in the first place. So, yun yung meaning ng post-dated check. Checks that are received, but you are not able to encash them as of the moment. Next, unused credit line. This is the difference between the credit limit granted by a bank and the amount actually used. Treatment is that this is also not part of cash. It must be disclosed in the notes. Ano nga ba yung unused credit line? Actually, yung mga kumpanya kasi, meron yung bank agreement, no, na minsan, hinahayaan sila mag-withdraw up to a certain amount at their own discretion. Similar yung konsepto nito sa credit card. So, di ba sa credit card, let's say meron kang credit limit na 50,000, hindi mo necessarily na kailangan i-encash yung 50,000 kung kailan mo lang gusto. So, let's say nag-encash ka ng 20,000 kasi may gusto kang bilhin na damit, no? Ang matitirang unused na credit line dyan ay yung 30K. 50 minus 20. Yung unused credit line ay yung 30K. Etong 30K, dapat dinidisclose lang sa notes na meron pang 30K na allowance na pwede pa i-withdraw. Pero paano po yung 20K, Kuya Lemon? Ito yung magiging part ng cash. Kasi yan yung in-encash mo using your unused credit line. Okay? So I hope that's clear. Next, company checks drawn. Ang POV naman nito ay yung entity mo yung nagsulat ng cheque in order to extinguish a debt. So, yung isang example dito ay yung unreleased checks. Checks drawn and recorded but not yet given to the payee. So, for example na to ay, let's say on January 31, 2025, nagbigay ka ng cheque sa supplier mo worth 1 million pesos. Okay? So, on January 31, 2025, yung 1 million pesos na yan, let's say, hindi naman post-dated. So, ang cheque niya, January 31 din. So, pwede i-encash yung supplier. Sinulat mo yan sa cheque, no? Okay. Pag sinulat mo yan, ang tawag dyan, drawn. Pag na-record mo yan, ang meaning lang yan is that meron ng journal entry na naglagay na accounts payable na 1 million at credit na cash na 1 million. Pag sinabing recorded, ibig sabihin, bumaba na yung cash mo because there is a journal entry posted in the books. Kaya lang dito, yung unreleased, ang meaning kasi niyan ay yung physical possession of the check was not transferred to the supplier or to the person whom you are paying. Kaya siya unreleased, like literally hindi siya nabigay. So, ang physical possession, nasa company pa din, nasa iyo pa din. Kaya kapag ganyan yung case, dapat i-reverse mo tong entry na to. So, dapat you should add cash back to your account kasi wala pa namang payment na nangyari. And then you also recognize the reversal of the payment. So, tataas yung accounts payable mo. So, in short, ang entry mo dyan is cash, 1 million, then AP of 1 million. So, yun. Paano pag nabigay ko na yung check eh? Eh di dun ka pa lang mag-record. Alright? Number 2. Post-dated checks drawn. These are checks drawn, recorded, and delivered but dated in the future. So let's say on January 31, magbabayad ka sa supplier mo amounting to 1 million. Pero this time, yung check mo, ginawa mo siyang post-dated. So dapat mawi-withdraw lang siya on February 2025. So from the time of January to February 20, yan ay tinatawag na post-dated check kasi hindi pa siya pwede i-encash. So kapag meron ng post-dated checks na na-drawn, nasulat, na-record, kasi nga syempre yung recording niyan naman is ganito rin, AP, cash, 1 million. Then dapat, since hindi pa naman ma-encash ni supplier yan, i-reverse mo yung entry ulit. No? So cash, and then AP of 1 million. So, by the time na mag-February 20, edi i-reverse mo ulit to. Okay? Kasi February 20, pwede na mag-encash si supplier mo. So, Kuya Lemon, ba't ganun ang weird? Kailangan mag-journal entry na talaga. Hindi ba pwedeng mag-journal entry na lang kapag hindi nabigyan check eh? Well, class, in your accounting industry, mapapansin nyo na may mga bagay na ginagawa for control. And minsan yung entry na yan, ginagawa yan sa system as a workaround. So, may assumption kasi na sa mga questions nyo, no, na kapag na-record, sinusulat talaga nila yung initial entry. For some weird reason yun. Kaya lang kasi meron din mga kumpanya na gustong ganun yung gawin pa rin in a sense na re-record pa rin nila for tracking na ay nabigay namin yung check na ganito. Pero kapag financial reporting period, i-reverse na lang nila. So depende yan sa policy ng company. But for the assumption sa academe, usually meron ng predetermined entry na ganito. Which is honestly quite weird. Kaya dapat tinuturo din yung aspect na yan. Okay? Stale checks. Uy, stale. Yan ba yung sa flood control na kulong na yan? Kasi nagnanakaw sila kasi stale. The answer is no. Pag sinabi mong stale checks, hindi yan nagnanakaw, no? Ang meaning lang yan ay checks not encashed by the payee within a relatively long period of time. So for example, in the Philippines, merong 6 months rule, no? Na dapat kapag yung cheque mo, let's say binigay mo yung cheque, no? Pwede siya in cash on January 31. Kapag December 31 na, ilang months na nakalipas dito? Actually, ano na rin yan, no? Parang 11 months. Lagpas na sa 6 months. Ang tawag yan dyan ay stale checks. And in banking practice, hindi na pinapa-encash yung stale checks kapag more than 6 months na. So, nangyayari dyan, nag-add back to cash kasi nga may initial entry na sinasabi sila na ganito. Pag binigay daw, ma-extinguish yung utang, tapos makikredit yung cash na 1 million. Pero pag nag-stale yan, let's say, on January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So, let's say, July 31, 2025. Naging stale check yan. By August 1, 2025, kailangan i-reverse nyo na yung entry. So, cash and then AP na 1 million. Kasi hindi yan may encash ni supplier mo. In fact, kailangan niyang pumunta sa company mo ulit para mag-request ng new check. Okay? Kaya kapag may na-receive kayo ng check, i-encash nyo kagad. Pero do take note kung post-dated yan. Pero yun yung magandang practice na i-encash mo kagad. Ito yun. So, ito clear to kay Lemon. Pero dun sa definition kasi, merong sinasabi na miscellaneous income. Kasi ganito yan class, no? Meaning, ang miscellaneous income is gain account. No? Pumapasok yan as addition to your equity kasi gain yan eh. So, bakit may miscellaneous income? Kasi meron mga suppliers na walang pakialam, no? Maliit lang yung amount sa kanila na let's say, nagsulat ka pa ng cheque, 1,000 pesos lang pala. Kung 1,000 pesos lang yan, tapos sinabi ni binigyan mo siya ng 1,000 peso na check. Binigay mo. Sabi, supplier, encash mo to 1,000 pesos. Itong supplier, million yung transaction niya. Minsan, hindi niya pagkakaaksayahan ng panahon yung 1,000 peso na bill or na check. Kakawin niya dyan, pagkakuha niya ng check, hindi niya encash yan. So, wala siyang pake. May mga ganong supplier minsan eh. So, kahit mag-August 1, 2025, minsan hindi na mag-a-ask ng another check yung supplier mo. Tatawagan ka niya na sasabihin sa'yo, yung 1,000 na check, yung hassle, malayo yung bangko sa amin. Hayaan na lang, extinguish na lang yung debt, pero hindi na namin i-encash to. Huwag mo na kami sulatin ng bagong check eh. So, kaya nagkakaroon ng AP na debit na 1,000 at credit na miscellaneous income kasi wala ka namang cash outflow eh. So, kinonsider yan as an extinguishment of debt in the form of forgoing the accounts payable. So, yun yung meaning ng stale checks. So, kulong na yan. Mga kurakot. Totoo yung ikulong pero hindi stale yung magnakaw. Okay? Stale checks yung pag nag-lapse ng 6 months. Okay. Cash equivalents. Sa mundong to, meron din mga tinatawag na cash equivalents, believe it or not. At eto kasi yung mga short-term, no? Short-term, highly liquid investments. Kapag sinabi mo kasing highly liquid investments, ibig sabihin, madali itong ma-encash. May tinatawag na technical term na secondary market whereby meron mga traders, no, ng mga instruments na to or ng mga investments. Ano ba yung two forms of investments? So ito merong tinatawag na debt investment at equity investment. Pag sinabi mong debt investment, nagpapautang ka. So let's say, nagpautang ka sa company ng 1 million, ang tawag doon ay debt investment. Pag ang equity investment naman, ito yung bumibili ka ng shares of stock of another company. Kasi nag-represent yan ng ownership. Okay, ownership. In the context of cash equivalents, ang covered lang dyan is debt instruments. Bakit ganun kay Lemon, no? Kasi, debt instruments lang yung may maturity date. And sabi, para maging cash equivalent yan, dapat readily convertible, subject to insignificant risk of changes in value, at, ito yung number 3 actually. Sinusunod niya yung 3-month rule na must be acquired 3 months or less before maturity. So, must be acquired 3 months or less. Pag sinabi mong 3 months or less, in a period of 3 months upon purchasing, pwede mo yung i-encash. Pag equity investments kasi, katulad ng stock, hindi yan, wala yung maturity date eh. So, pag binenta mo yung shares mo, pwede mo naman anytime, unless may legal restrictions, no? Pero hindi siya katulad ng debt instruments na fix kung kailan siya magmamature. At mas predictable yun. Kasi nga pag sinabi magmamature in 3 months, mas sure yun. Compared sa sasabihin sa'yo ng tao na 3 months, no, bibigay ko sa yung pera, verbal lang yun. Okay? Pag equity, kahit equity, pag sasabihin niya, sige 3 months, bibenta ko na tong shares of stock ko. Kung sinabi niya lang, huwag kayong magtitiwala dun. Kaya dapat written yan. And usually for equity investments, wala namang maturity date yan pag bumili ka sa stock market, no? Unlike sa debt investment wherein nakalagay doon kung kailan siya magmamature sa mismong document. So, yun yung rationale niyan. So, for example, 3-month treasury bill, kasama yan. 3-month time deposit, kasama yan. Itong 1-year T-bill, purchased 4 months ago, hindi kasama yan. Kasi purchased 4 months ago eh. You may ask me, kaya naman less than 1 year naman. Well, ito nga sa accounting, minsan siya, no? Kung ako tatanungin mo, yung 3-month rule na yan, convention kasi yan eh. So, kailangan sundin na lang natin. Pag 4 months kasi, pag inisip mo, 1 month, diba? 1 month lang yung difference niya. But, minsan kailangan mo na lang sundin kung ano yung nakalagay sa practice, no? And in the practice, it's usually 3 months or less. Acquired 3 months or less. Kaya pag 4 months, hindi na yung sinasama. Ang classification na yan ay STI. Oh, yung school? No. STI, short-term investment po ang ibig sabihin yan. Okay? Alright. Meron ding special bank items. So for example, deposit in foreign bank, included in cash, pero kailangan mo i-convert yan. So kapag unrestricted lang yun pero pag restricted, non-current asset yan due to exchange controls. So for example, let's say nakagera dun sa bansa na meron kang deposit ng cash, tapos hindi siya pwede withdrawin, ang tawag dun restricted. So hindi mo siya isasama sa cash account mo. Pero let's say lang yan, deposit lang yan in another country, abroad, then kung wala namang special case na nakagera dun or bawal i-withdraw, then kailangan mo yan isama sa cash at convert mo yan at closing rate. Etong closing rate sana yan, sa AFAR nyo pa yan encounter mostly. Well, essentially, ang closing rate, yan yung rate ng financial reporting period. So, let's say, yung rate at December 31, 2025, yun yung gagamitin mo na rate. I-multiply mo na lang or divide, depende sa whether indirect or direct method yung gagamitin mo. But essentially, kailangan mo lang i-translate. And then you add it back to the reporting of cash, of the cash account. Okay, next. Compensating balance. Pag compensating balance, essentially, ito yung minimum balance required by the bank. So, for example, merong mga loan agreements na sinasabing, sige, papa-loan ka namin ng 1 million, pero as a security, yung 100,000 dyan, compensating balance, in a sense na hindi mo tatanggalin. Okay? So, kapag hindi mo tatanggalin, legally restricted yan, separate assets yan. Hindi yan isasama sa cash. Pero pag not restricted, let's say, merong compensating na 100,000 pero wala namang repercussion if we withdrawin. Then that one is part of cash. Iba kasi class pag sinabing sa contract na bawal mong withdrawin yung 100,000 eh. Yun, may legal restriction involved na dun. But if nakalagay lang na you may withdraw, but we prefer you keep it para mag-earn ng interest, then it's still not restricted. Therefore, you add it back to cash. Bank overdraft occurs when cash account has credit balance, meaning checks drawn exceed deposits. So, current liability yan. Okay? Bago tayo sa exception, explain ko yung concept ng bank draft. Ito, hindi kasi nangyayari sa Philippines to, no? As far as I know. Although, nakita ko na to sa ibang bansa. But, for the Philippine context, I've never seen this. So, ang context kasi niyan, meron kang deposit account, no? Na 100,000 pesos. Tapos, ang nangyari, meron kang withdrawal na 110,000. So, let's say 110,000. Okay? Meron kang excess na 10,000. Merong mga kasi instances daw na hinahayaan ka mag-withdraw ng 110,000. So, nagiging negative 10,000. Ito, overdraft yung tawag dyan. Over dun sa withdraw mo. So, sa ibang bansa daw, ina-allow yan. I've seen this in another country. And usually, nag-charge na lang sila ng percentage of interest yan, parang cash withdrawal. Pero sa Philippines, hindi kasi nag-work ng ganyan. Unless may cash advance na eligibility. But in the Philippines, usually, pag deposit account lang, di na-allow yan. Makakapag-deposit ka lang up to the amount that you have in the bank. But anyway, if lumabas na sa problem, current liability itong 10,000. At meron kasing exception to offset. Kapag marami kang accounts in the same bank, pwede mong i-offset yan to each other. And if merong specific right of offset exist. So let's say yung banko mo, let's say BPD Bank, dalawa yung account mo, 2 accounts. Yung isa may 10,000 na tas merong 1 million yung isa. Pag yung bank okay lang na i-offset yan, may right to offset ka kasi doon ka naman talaga nagbabank na matagal na. Tapos same account naman, same bank naman yung dalawang accounts, then pwede mo i-offset yan. Meaning pag na-report mo in your FS, 990,000 yung re-report mo. Pero again, in the Philippines, I've never seen this happen. Okay? Let's move on to the next part. Ano ba yung measurement and presentation? Ang measurement lang naman ng cash is at face value. So kung ano yung nakikita mo dun sa mismong document, yun na yung re-report mo. Pag foreign currency cash, measured to at current exchange rate or closing rate at the reporting date. So for example, December 31, 2025 yung reporting date. Then yung foreign currency rate ng December 31, 2025 yung gagamitin mo to convert your cash. Yung FS presentation ng cash, it's a first line item in the statement of financial position and current assets siya. Yung line item niya na complete, ito class napaka-importante nito. Cash and cash equivalents. Okay? So in summary, cash are those unrestricted and immediately available. Kailangan mo mag-adjust if merong unreleased of purse or post-dated checks. Kailangan mo i-exclude kapag post-dated checks na na-receive. At kapag yung equivalents naman, dapat 3-month rule, sinusunod mo. At kapag overdraft, generally, current liability yan. So, yun yung lesson natin for cash and cash equivalents. Magsasagot tayo ng comprehensive question on whether to include or not include your cash and cash equivalents in the part 2 of this lesson series for cash and cash equivalents. If you have questions, do comment below. Thank you for watching and do subscribe para mas dumami yung reach natin sa iba pang mga students. God bless everyone. Thank you and see you in our next video.